Zhang Yi used his secret alternate dimension conduit to empty the entire Walmart South China warehouse in a matter of hours, transferring billions of dollars worth of goods into his hidden storage. He reported the disappearance to the warehouse's general manager, Tom Watson, who summoned senior executives and called the police. The executives were horrified, and the police arrived to find the interior cameras disabled and no vehicles on the perimeter, leading them to suspect either a supernatural vanishing or internal embezzlement. Zhang Yi pretended nervousness, cooperated with the interrogation, and was released after a night of questioning, though the authorities ordered him to remain in Tianhai City while the case dragged on. Back at his fortified apartment, Zhang Yi stared out at the city on December 10, 2 days before the foretold ice age. He rested, knowing his alternate dimension stockpile supplied him with food, water, fuel, and cold weather gear, and that his daily firearms training continued unabated. The next morning, the national news broadcast the unprecedented theft, speculating on insider involvement and the logistical impossibility of moving such volume in a single night. Police and Walmart investigators called him in again, but without concrete evidence they could not detain him, and he brushed off messages from acquaintances seeking explanations. On December 12, at 2 a.m., a burst of gamma rays swept over the planet, an event the world would later label the trigger of the Ice Age. Anticipating the collapse of modern heating, Zhang Yi sealed his room, lit a fire in his fireplace, and prepared a modest amount of charcoal. As the gamma flash faded, a brief white glare illuminated the horizon, followed moments later by a sudden, ferocious blizzard that turned fingernail-sized flakes into a wall of snow within minutes. Inside, the fireplace roared, raising the indoor temperature to a surprisingly comfortable 32.6 degrees Celsius while the city outside became a white, wind-howling wasteland. Zhang Yi settled onto his sofa, beer in hand, and watched the storm intensify through the French windows. Snow piled on the balcony within half an hour, and the city's internet erupted with complaints about the unexpected sub-zero temperatures and frozen roads, alongside a few delighted posts from southern residents marveling at the unprecedented snowfall. He reduced his charcoal use, satisfied that his 8 million yuan safe house could endure the oncoming freeze, and noted that the heavy snow was only the beginning of a 3-month ordeal that would drive temperatures ever lower. While the world scrambled to understand the sudden climate collapse, Zhang Yi remained inside his impregnable refuge, his extensive caches untouched and his mind focused on the long-term survival the alternate dimension supplies guaranteed. He observed the unfolding disaster with a detached calm, aware that the true test of his preparations had only just begun. Zhang Yi lounged on his sofa in the fortified apartment, the climate control keeping the interior at a pleasant 20 degrees while a fierce snowstorm blanketed Tianhai City. He sipped an ice-cold Budweiser and watched the chatter in his various chat groups, where friends complained about the sudden cold but treated it as a novelty. Unconcerned, Zhang Yi closed his eyes, pulled the thin velvet blanket tighter, and fell asleep to the crackle of the fireplace, the room insulated by the 200mm aerospace alloy walls that held the outside chill at bay. He was roused early by a call from Fang Yuqing, whose voice trembled with a mixture of annoyance and desperation. She accused him of hoarding supplies and complained about the biting cold, while Zhang Yi answered with a lazy, mocking tone, barely acknowledging her concerns. After ending the call, he slipped into his slippers, approached the French windows, and stared at a city swallowed by relentless, featherlight snow that obscured streets and buried ground-floor windows, a stark contrast to the warm sanctuary he occupied. Returning inside, Zhang Yi took a hot shower, then retrieved a top-grade A5 Wagyu steak from his spatial storage and prepared a breakfast of steak and pasta, accompanied by red wine. He turned on the television, which was still powered despite the extreme cold, and watched the morning news. The anchors, bundled in down jackets, reported a global cold front that had plunged temperatures by 70 to 100 degrees Celsius, with Tianhai City now at minus 65 degrees. The broadcast warned citizens to stay indoors, avoid frostbite, and not hoard supplies, a directive Zhang Yi dismissed as naive, confident that survival would belong to those who had prepared as he had. The news screen displayed the dramatic temperature drop, confirming the catastrophic shift Zhang Yi had anticipated. He reflected on his previous life's experience of similar cold, noting that his insulated safe house, built at great expense, kept the interior comfortably warm. His phone buzzed again with a message from Fang Yuqing, now pleading for food and offering repayment after the storm. Zhang Yi, recalling how she had once manipulated him into giving away his provisions, responded with cold sarcasm, claiming his stores were nearly exhausted and sending her a selfie of his steak-laden table, deliberately flaunting his continued abundance while refusing her request. Throughout the day, Zhang Yi remained inside, monitoring the external conditions through the television and occasional glances out the windows. He noted that his backup power system, dozens of generators and a massive gasoline reserve could sustain the apartment for centuries, ensuring that even a prolonged power outage would not compromise his comfort. The chapter closed with Zhang Yi's detached satisfaction, his eyes fixed on the snow-filled world beyond, while the city outside struggled against an unprecedented ice age that showed no sign of abating. Fang Yuqing huddled in her rented room, blankets wrapped tightly around her trembling body while the air conditioner blasted at 40 degrees Celsius, yet the room remained well below zero. The cold seeped through the thin fabric, and she shivered as she stared at a photo Zhang Yi had sent, a picture of him in a flimsy nightgown, calmly eating a thick slice of a 5 Wagyu steak and sipping an expensive French red wine. The sight of the luxurious meal, juxtaposed with her own freezing misery, ignited a fierce jealousy in her. She immediately typed a message demanding the same indulgence, assuming Zhang Yi would oblige, but his reply was a cold, dismissive "just go to the supermarket and buy it if you want." The refusal cut deep. She retorted angrily, calling him a coward and accusing him of squandering a golden opportunity, yet she clung to a fragile pride, refusing to beg outright for food. While Fang Yuqing fumed, Zhang Yi turned his attention to the neighborhood residents group chat, where Aunt Lin, a member of the local committee, was broadcasting calm directives. She urged everyone not to panic, warned against hoarding, and promised official assistance, insisting that the sudden temperature drop would be brief. A few residents voiced doubts, questioning how long the snowstorm would last and whether supplies would remain affordable. Aunt Lin's tone hardened, threatening to report anyone caught hoarding to higher authorities, and she specifically called out Zhang Yi, accusing him of stockpiling and demanding he stay home, lest he set a bad example. Zhang Yi's response was a cold smile and a pointed question: if the storm persisted and supplies ran low, who would bear responsibility for the resulting shortages? His challenge resonated, prompting another resident to ask who would be accountable if food and water ran out. The group's tension rose as Aunt Lin's composure cracked. She warned Zhang Yi that his behavior was illegal and disorderly, and she threatened to have him detained in a dark place for a few days. Zhang Yi laughed, dismissing her threats as laughable, and reiterated that he would not venture out in the bitter cold because he already possessed ample provisions. He mocked her reliance on petty authority, declaring that the apocalypse would spare those he deemed unworthy while he would survive by any means. The exchange laid bare a micro-war of wills within the building, a desperate resident demanding luxury, a stoic survivor refusing to share, and a committee figure attempting to enforce order while secretly fearing scarcity. Zhang Yi's internal monologue surfaced, revealing a grim resolve. He felt sorrow for the masses who might freeze or starve, yet he rationalized that some, especially former adversaries, deserved death. His determination to outlive the crisis remained unshaken, and his refusal to aid Fang Yuqing underscored a growing isolation from the community. The chapter closed on the simmering conflict, with the snowstorm still raging outside and the residents' fate hanging in the balance, while Zhang Yi's cold smile hinted at an unyielding, self-preserving future.